uncovers and exposes them tonight. So there was no water for the people to drink. And the people quarreled with Moses, demanding, give us water to drink. And see, that's what it is. You need that water to sustain you. I mean, listen, I went out of that situation to a situation where, I paid a fee, and the fee, water or my utilities were included. I'm talking real talk, Oshaba. And I'm reminded, I got a knock on the door, Oshaba. And this man came and he began to tell me that the water was going to be cut off for non-payment. I didn't see the manager the whole day or the owner of the property. And when I did see him, Oshaba, he began to try to tell me one of them stories or lies. Because the one thing about people that try to deal with you and try to connect with you when you're in a vulnerable state, in most cases, they're lies. Oshaba. You be lonely and she come over and tell you look good. Listen, you didn't need her to tell you that. You get in the mirror every day. Oshaba. You see, you love yourself. That look, you've been looking. Look, I've been living with that for 52 years. Call it conceited, call it whatever. I'm just calling it real. Because I got to love me, Oshaba, and the way God created me before you can even think about loving me. So I got an upper hand on you on that. You understand what I'm saying? Look, I'm talking about interruptions and frustrations turned around, Oshaba. And so we have to understand they begin to demand water from Moses. They begin to ask Moses, where's the water? Where's the water? And so, when you're dealing with people and interruptions, we're living, you got to understand that we're living in a world of schedules and timetables, and deadlines, and many things are calmer for our attentions, and the only way to stay sane is to have an orderly procedure. You got to have order. You got to have the order of Yehovah in your life. That's the only way to stay sane. Listen, let me tell you something. You ever had somebody, man, try to pull you out of something that God put you in? God put you in it, didn't put them in it, put you in it, and they try to dictate and tell you what to do and what God put you in, and they don't have a clue. Procedures for accomplishing the various tasks. Consequently, as often as well as I do that, we often use what? The defense mechanism. You want to put up a wall. Every time somebody says something to you, you want to be soft-skinned and offended. You want to be offended. I was talking to a friend tonight, and I just talked to him about a little piece of paper wrapper, and I know they got offended. I don't know why. I was just telling them the truth. But people get offended. I had a really a person that, sometimes you try to go too far with people. Now, God told you to let them go back a long time ago. And you yet still being disobedient, still trying to believe God, or do like Abraham. Lord, if I could just find one person. God is about to bring destruction. And so you just believe in God that they would change and turn around, and you're negotiating with God. And so now God puts something on display. God says, son, I want you to put this and do this like that. Now here comes somebody that, listen, if God was 1 inch in front of them, they wouldn't know it. And they want to tell you to do something opposite of what God, or they came late. See, there's order to the things of God. So if you done came late, guess what? Somebody done took your slate. Somebody took your space. There's no more time for that. That's over. That's over. And some people don't really think that, and there's either two things that happen. One, they get called out on this situation. Two, which you hope doesn't happen, they become destroyed in it because they get trapped because what they didn't do their homework, and they become overpowered because they're dealing with something, a giant that they're not familiar with, and they're uncovered. And in most cases, you get overwhelmed. They get the person gets to jump on you because you weren't expecting that. See, you're used to controlling things. You're used to controlling things and just doing whatever you want to do to people. But at certain times, you meet up with somebody and you just did it to the wrong person. And so we have to focus on orderly. Now, don't interrupt me. Don't come and tell me, Zari, you need to do the broadcast this way. What are you interrupting me for, telling me something about the broadcast? You weren't there when God gave me the message, and you definitely ain't God's messenger. So why would you say anything to me? See, people have gotten so, so into this media and this performing thing that they forget the basics things of Yehovah. So now when this person interrupts you, you got to be kind in some cases and try to listen to them. But then there's a time where you can't listen to them anymore. God removes them from your space. To keep the flow of productivity in motion, but that can make a indifferent and a callous and black and many and black or block many blessings. When you continue to go down the wrong path with the wrong him or her or it or that, it can block the many blessings that Yehovah has for you. Vice versa, sometimes God puts people in front of you that you got to listen to. But, because you're stubborn and stubborn-willed and you got your mind made up, what happens is you're your worst enemy. You're blocking Yehovah from blessing you. And God he put his tools and everything in front of you, and you begin to ignore it. I was telling this kid, and I say kid very confident. I was telling this kid, I think a while ago, I said, listen, now sometimes I make myself available to people, right? Now, if I make myself available to you, you need to take advantage of that while I'm available to you. Listen, if you don't take advantage of it when I offer it, guess what? That door's shut. There's no way that you make yourself that important that you think that a door is always going to be open. I don't even have that privilege with Yehovah, who carries all the grace and mercy. So why would you think a mortal is going to do more for you than Yehovah? It's not possible. It's not possible. I had partners, and these particular partners, they taught me different things, but I was smart enough where I didn't allow myself to overtalk them. I listened to them, right? I didn't interrupt them when they were telling me stuff. I wasn't always coming up with this hot ideal that was full of air. And I mean, some people will come with 50 different projects at the same time and don't get any of them done. I'm going to make a $50 by the end of the month. And they don't make that, the end of the month them pass. Then the month them pass 1, 2, and 3 times. And they never seen the $50. So you got to get away from that. You can block your blessing by doing the wrong thing. When it becomes indifferent and callous, and they block many blessings for you that are knocking what? Knocking at the door. We must learn that God is the blesser. God is the one that what? Wants to bless us. God wants to. We must learn the buoyancy and what? And the staying limber, flexible. So when things come in, I go to pick up my cell phone and my service was interrupted. Well, I got to be limber and flexible to kind of move around and figure out how this is going to turn around, as a blessing. Okay, this particular trade or this particular opportunity didn't work. I got to stay limber so that, or flexible so that I can make the adjustments, be able to stretch so that becomes a turnaround experience for me. Okay, she didn't work. He didn't work. But because I'm flexible, I can move around this till God develops something else for me. I didn't get that contract. I was dependent on that contract to carry me and my business. And what I had to do was I had to learn to stay flexible. Most of the miracles of Yeshua, it seems like they're sneaked into prime time, scheduled when he was doing something else, headed for some other place. I was going somewhere else. I was going to do something else. Yeshua was, he had there was something else, the agenda, but something interrupted it. So we have to stay we have to stay limber. Too often we are poorer for not working our routine disturbed. Too busy to listen to a child or cry of loneliness of an elderly person. We find when we have the time, they are no longer around or available. We're too busy. So he's no longer available. She's no longer available. My son comes near me, and this is a time for me to open up a book and read the book with him. What I call a golden moment. Some people don't care. So you make yourself available to them. They reject you being available to them. But when you pull yourself back and you're no longer there, they try to come around. But guess what? That time is past. See, that time it's past because I no longer need your shoulder to cry on. I no longer need your company to keep me company. So we come into delicate situations. We're blessed because of Yehovah. Even though I know myself, oftentimes I let out salty tears or just running tears, for people and for different situations and circumstances. And some of it works for some people and some of it doesn't. I've seen God heal people that I didn't think he was going to heal. I pleaded with him to heal him. And then I seen other people that I believe God to keep and deliver, and they left here. And in some cases, it could be the same family where one person got healed, the other person got allowed to die. I remember this woman, Mom Caprio, she wanted me to make the decision about our